Cause your heart is tangled up like wild vines. And every turn I take, the deeper I feel lost. Don't make it so hard. I feel like I'm right back at the start of this maze. I'm giving you my all. I'm racing like a dirt fight. I see you now and you see me now. Run with me now. Together we shine. My heart feels like together we fly. Sky high, all the way together we shine. I am with you, all we need to shine. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Oh, maybe a smile or a smirk I see on you. Oh, crazy misunderstandings. Oh, hazy. I don't know what's going inside your mind. Never felt so lost, so lately. Try to take a peek inside and oh, crazy. Still confused and so daily. I wonder if I'm
Hi, hello.
Testing.
I had to get that other mouse working so that I'm able to, do the thingy on the desktop over there.
Your magic.
As you'll see in the camera right over here, where I'm at, like I got a lot of stuff on my plate, so bear with me as I navigate, so that way I'm able to read and view the chat on each of the platforms, as you will. So okay, all right. We got the Twitch up, we got the YouTube up, Facebook pretty much dead, and of course, we are currently streaming on Twitter or X, however you want to call it, but we're still calling it Twitter because that's what it was.
Yes.
So, without further ado, let us now. Let me just.
I know you got the momentum going on.
There we go.
Do we need to do an introduction for Twitter, or people know who we are already? Because if not, it's kind of a
I mean, people should know who we are by now, but anyways, without further ado, let us begin tonight's intro in 3, 2, 1, and good evening, everybody. What is going on? Episode 131 of the South Florida Gamers Podcast. I am your host, the Silverback Senpai, and across the table from me, over there, is none other than my co-host, Waluigi.
Good evening, long time no chat. Good to be back. Welcome to the Twitter viewers. Welcome to the YouTube, Twitch, people coming by, people watching the playbacks. All is appreciated here in the South Florida Gamers Podcast. If you're not from Florida, we still appreciate you.
Absolutely. And of course, tonight is a very special night because this is now our first time. Streaming on X, Twitter, however you want to call it. I'm going to call it Twitter. So
Yeah, Twitter's just...
for those that are based, I'm calling it Twitter.
Yeah.
Anyways, streaming on Twitter. So Twitter audience, welcome.
Yeah.
I understand that I'm gonna throw some shade in. I'm gonna probably do some shit talking. I understand that it's hard for you guys to hit the link button to our YouTube, which would greatly benefit and help support us. So we're gonna give you guys, hey, our presence here on the platform or whatnot.
Yeah.
So you're welcome. Appreciate it.
Give us fan art.
Like and share, retweet, repost the podcast. It helps us grow.
I know. Yeah, and don't forget to follow us too.
Absolutely.
That way you can keep up to date with our shenanigans. But
what is going on, Dan, in the chat over on YouTube?
oh snap!
Shout out to Dan. We've had him on the podcast about a week or so ago.
Yeah, my goat.
You should definitely check out episode 129, I believe, of the podcast when we had him on.
Yeah, and Lightning K on YouTube's already a step ahead and Salve about the EULA. But there's a lot of layers. I'm not sure how you want to start this, brother.
All right, so we're just going to get right into the meat and potatoes, and this is something that you brought up to me about the EULA from Nintendo. So I'm going to go ahead and change the screen, and I'm going to go ahead and enlarge this. I'm going to go full screen. So,
Yeah, from GameSpot themselves, actually.
Full steam ahead, Waluigi.
So pretty much I'm just going to get the link because I sent it to my phone. I forgot to put it up here.
Mm-hmm.
But layers of the user and end user license agreements
Mm-hmm.
seems really chaotic. For a company this big as Nintendo, they pretty much say they own your console, they own the game. It's just like you're just here to play.
Right.
But reading within the image, it'll just say, according to Nintendo's end user license agreement, you won't actually own your Switch 2. Then on the bottom black text, it'll say, Nintendo's updated EULA states that the piracy, tampering, and modding of its console may render the Nintendo account services and or applicable Nintendo device permanently unusable in the whole or in parts. That to me is already insane. You're
Yeah.
spending $500 on a console, and you can't really modify it to your extent. You're not even tampering online. I guess they learned from the first Nintendo, where people found ways to modify the Switch by actually just opening up under the Joy-Con. And then there's other ways of hacking it, like the 3DS and other modifications. That is just sheer insanity. But they literally just put, hey, you're practically not owning your console.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, it's ours, but you're spending the money. It's like renting with extra steps.
Yeah.
Or it's like a one-time rent.
Yeah. And with this, and of course, with this information and knowledge, all it's going to do is encourage people to pirate Nintendo products even more, because Nintendo should know by, like, I understand Nintendo wants to protect their IP. They want to protect their IP. They want to protect their legacy, which I respect, which
Yeah.
I understand, and I'm not knocking for, but all you're going to do is encourage more people to pirate your games, because the stuff that we gamers, we ask for Nintendo to give us, to bring to us, so that way we're able to purchase your games. We're able to keep your games for a long period of time, because they don't make cartridge games anymore. They've completely moved on from cartridge games. They've completely moved on from the CD disc games. Nintendo has moved on, and now they went back to not went back, but they went to small cartridge for the Switch, and of course the Switch 2. So there's no way to access those older titles back in the NES era, the Super Nintendo era, the N64 era, unless it's like a very popular classic game that Nintendo knows it's going to do a lot of money. So other games, like for me, I'm a heavy fan of the N64, because that was my first console that I've owned as I was a little kid. I've played other Nintendo consoles like the Super Nintendo, the NES, but that was like my first console that I've owned. So I would love to play certain games like Super Mario 64, Mario Kart 64, Kirby 64, Smash Bros, Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, you name it, Star Fox 64.
But
So
if I may imply, Silver, just
Yes.
having the N64 was like ahead of its time. Even promoting it in McDonald's in the early 2000s. Like for those that are below the age of 20, they used to just have these in McDonald's, like along with playgrounds.
yeah,
It was never a dull building. It was always something fun for the kids to look at. Like you would have like Pokemon Snap and such.
yeah.
And now you don't see any of this anymore. Like they were ahead of its time with promoting this console. The Nintendo 64 was just like a grand like console of its time.
Yeah, it was revolutionary, and the N64 will always be one of my favorite consoles of all time, especially to own, because the fact that, for one, it was my very first console that I've owned. Like me and my brother, we shared the console, but that was our first console that we owned ever, and we've played so many games off of just that one console itself, and it holds a lot of memories. So fast forward to now with the Switch 2, you would think that Nintendo would be able to have these games in a digital library to where we're able to access these games for many years down the line, but they don't.
Yeah.
They'll bring back some of the classics, sure, but not the entire library. So what does that give gamers to do? Other than you're going to have to go out to mom and pop shops, retro gaming shops,
Way back then.
conventions, things like that to look for these classic consoles.
And they may not be worth the price at this point.
Yeah, you're definitely gonna be shopping around. So with that, now comes to emulation, and
Oh, yes.
there's websites where you can get the emulator, the ROM of some of these classic games, and then you just have them on your hard drive for many years, up until you're like what,
Yep.
maybe in your 60s and 70s, and
Yeah.
guess what? It's like, hey, at least I still have all these games on my PC.
Yeah.
But Nintendo doesn't like that because the fact that
They don't.
you're able to access these games for free. It was a game that they published, and you're able to access these games for free, play them for free, and they want their cut. They want their cake and eat it too.
You know
But
what's dark,
you're-
Silver?
What's up?
You know what's dark?
What?
Your memories cost a fee.
Yeah.
Your memories are basically a subscription.
Yeah.
That's the dark truth that Nintendo does not want to say, because they had like this whole you have to buy the online in order to play the N64 versions they can provide. It's emulation, but for a cost.
Oh yeah.
And then you have the GameCube emulations as well. Then the Super Nintendo, like you're paying $20+ of a subscription to replay emulators continuously when you can just do it one time only in the download.
Yeah. And now with Nintendo going with this move, as I said before, they're doing it to protect their IP. They're doing it to protect their business, which I get. But all you're going to do is now encourage people to hack your console, pirate games even more. Like you're not going to stop. You're not going to stop it.
It's
Like
inevitable.
gaming piracy, it's going to continue to keep happening because the fact that with AAA games, people don't want to take a risk of spending a lot of money on a disappointing game.
Nope.
So now they resort to piracy to where, well, I'll just find another way to play your game without having to spend any money for it. And yeah, go after yourself, Nintendo. So Nintendo should know that from previous eras, like the Switch, it's been hacked before. It's been modded before. The Nintendo Wii U has been hacked and modded. The Wii has been hacked and modded.
3DS.
The 3DS, the GameCube, the N64, like these consoles have been hacked and modded to where people can play as many games on it as possible.
Or
as
you
much
know,
as
you
they
know what
want.
also what? They also have pre-made cartridges.
That
So
too.
it may not be emulators, but you have something that has a load of games
Yep.
that not even Nintendo could supply from Japan.
Yeah.
Or Europe and such.
Yeah.
Which is super neat. Like, they're relatively cheap on Amazon.
Yeah.
And Nintendo's not going to compete with Amazon because they need them.
Oh yeah.
For those that don't want to get into emulation, but they want to just tamper around with it.
Reading the chat from Lightning KO.
I'm on Twitch as well. I see Y2 Spectful.
What's Twitch saying?
That's wild for Nintendo to even say that. Legalize emulation. As I was talking about, with subscriptions and your memories are going to be a fee.
Yeah.
It's pain.
Yeah.
It's a painful truth that most people do not want to digest.
Lightning KO, I'm reading chat, says on PC is amazing and I am done with Nintendo. Also, screw Nintendo and Pokemon Company for trying to kill Power World at every given opportunity. Bro, you
Speaking of which, did you hear that they had to change their word from flying to gliding?
yes, that was so ridiculous.
That's funny. Oh my god! They're like, hey, we took the word flight mechanic in the Pokemon. Oh Lord. Yeah, then there was a whole the gun phenomenon, Pokemon catching, the mods that people did for Pokemon that weren't even the developers' faults. Yep.
Like, let Pal World live and let them grow, Nintendo.
No,
because
they're
the
not.
fact that you didn't want to give Pokemon fans exactly what they want, here comes a company that's doing something completely different, and now you want to shit on them.
Yeah, because not every Pokemon game or creature game has to be a carbon copy. It could be its own thing.
Exactly. Like, honestly, I want Pal World to continue to succeed, to continue to have success later down the road. Later down the road.
Ah.
And continue to keep giving Nintendo the big middle finger.
Oh yeah, it's entertaining, especially if the guy who made the guns was just only like a young teenager. That's the funniest thing. That man was a Western otaku.
Also reading the chat. Dan, I agree with you. Like, yeah, like it makes you realize that physical media is slowly dying. Yeah, It definitely is.
That's also painful. Physical media slowly dying.
Like, if you're able to get a physical copy of your favorite games, do so now. So that
Yeah.
way you always have it within your possession, and you can just play it at any given time.
Yeah, then Y2 Spectful is also included with modding their older consoles. It gives people opportunity to play games that Nintendo won't even release. Now, is it okay to mod it? No, but it's completely understandable why it has to be done.
Yeah,
And that's real.
yeah,
It's like morally it's a bit awkward, but like financially and everything else, it seems right.
oh yeah,
Like for people who don't know, it's also in the App Store. Nintendo's not going to do anything about it. But Delta, for people who have iOS devices, they can play Game Boy emulations, Nintendo DS, and Super Nintendo. Then there's also Gamma, which a buddy of mine introduced me to, which is PlayStation emulations. So you can actually play these games on your phone for free. You just got to download the ROMs.
yeah.
The more you know.
Nintendo owning patents on game mechanics will kill video games.
Yeah.
Look at sitting on Nemesis system and never letting.
Oh, yeah.
Look
I-
at Warner Brothers sitting on the Nemesis system and never letting any other game use that
Yes.
mechanic. Yep.
The Shadows of Mordor is the best example.
Yep. You're-
Ah,
Lightning, you are spot on with that.
like, that was ahead of its time.
Yes, it was.
Nemesis system was such a cool thing. It's like, hey, you remember me from a while back? And they just get stronger. Doom introduced that recently, actually. Where if somebody dies from a certain character, they just get sent into a random game. It could be your friend's game, it could be somebody else's game, but it's an overpowered creature that gives you bonus loot. Or that will just get perpetually stronger until you kill it,
Yeah.
which is funny as hell.
Oh yeah. Next topic. Hold on. Let me exit full screen.
Yeah, this one I'm curious about, actually.
Yeah, this one I really want to speak on this one a little bit more.
Yeah, you already got the articles?
Yeah, so I'm gonna pull it up, and this is SNK CEO steps down after heavily marketed Fatal Fury City of the Wolves seemingly muted launch. The Saudi-owned publisher sponsored WWE boxing and more to promote the game.
Wow.
SNK has announced that its CEO will be stepping down following the release of its heavily marketed latest fighting game. The company announced that Kenji Matsubara, who joined as a CEO in August 2021, will transition to an advisory role where he will continue to lend his expertise and vision. During his tenure as CEO, Mr. Matsubara has been instrumental in driving the company's growth and innovation. A statement reads, he transformed SNK by expanding its development division and strengthening its sales and marketing functions, building it into a global publisher capable of competing worldwide. As part of this transition, the board will appoint the chairman of the board to assume the interim role of CEO. The board expresses its deepest gratitude to Mr. Matsubara for his dedication and leadership during a transformative period in the company's history. So I'm gonna skip most of that. So the fighter only sold 6,302 copies in Japan in its first 11 days, according to Famitsu. On Steam, the game has an all-time peak concurrent player number of 4,674, which is lower than even its recent beta. And in the last 24 hours, it hit a peak of 1,157.
Ooh, that's rough.
By comparison, Street Fighter 6 hit a peak of concurrent of more than 32,000 players in its last 24 hours, despite being nearly 2 years old. And Tekken 8's recent 24-hour peak was 6,000, but it has an all-time peak of 49,977 when it released 16 months ago. While sales figures of the console version outside of Japan are not yet known, the game didn't appear in Sony's official top 20 PS5 charts for April in either North America or Europe.
Ooh, that's rough. I can continue reading if anything.
No, I can
Oh, okay.
I can read. I can read the whole thing. SNK is owned by Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, who acquired 96% of the acclaimed Japanese developer in 2022. Its latest game has been featured in numerous high-profile marketing stunts, most of which have ties to the Crown Prince's other ventures. So I'm going to stop right there and say that with Fatal Fury City of the Wolves, like, yes, that game was heavily marketed.
Yeah.
Like, it was, like, the marketing.
You would not you would not be able to not hear it, at least if you watch WWE.
It was, bro, yeah, even in yes. Like, I'm watching WrestleMania, and then I see Fatal Fury City of the Wolves being featured at WrestleMania. Like, it was kind of, like, weird.
It is.
Because the fact that it's a wrestling event, and you are showcasing a fighting game.
At least you're off T-Zock.
Right. But for me, I'm thinking, why would, of course, WWE, getting that money, the sponsor money or whatnot, so they have to, go.
They'll take anything.
Yeah, because money is money. And I'm thinking, you would think you would show off your game from 2K, your WWE 2K25. You would have that featured. But this isn't the first time WWE has featured a game on their promotion or whatnot, because they did the same thing with Dragon Ball Sparking Zero last year.
They did.
But with Fatal Fury City of the Wolves, even had the DJ Salvatore Ganacci show up at WrestleMania, and I was just like, okay, it was a brief second, but he showed up, then he was gone, and then in the ring you see the center of the ring, you literally see Fatal Fury City of the Wolves, the brand right in the center of the ring. The marketing was just out everywhere for this game, and it didn't sell well. And you would think that, what, is the game bad? No. From a lot of people who have played the game and competed in the game is actually good.
I think many people just not really know about Fatal Fury per se.
Right.
Because it's a very classic game.
Yeah.
With mostly led by King of Fighters and such. With the same style, the mechanics. Well, not mechanics per se, but at least movement-wise.
Yeah, SNK has been in the gaming world for years. I would say back in the 90s.
Decades.
Yeah, so SNK has been out there for a very long time. But I'm guessing because we're in a new era, many people don't know so much of SNK, because so many of us are very familiar with Street Fighter, Tekken. Those are the
Street
top.
Fighter, Tekken, Mortal Kombat.
Right. But we're going to get to Mortal Kombat.
Yeah,
later.
I don't want to say Guilty Gear, because let's be real, not many people knew what Guilty Gear was until Strive started hitting.
Yeah.
And mainly because social media started becoming more booming during the pandemic and such, which introduced this game early on.
Right.
But yeah, having Salvatore Ganacci is the funniest thing.
Yeah, and I think that because when he was revealed right after the trailer of Cristiano Ronaldo, that trailer was met with a lot of negativity.
Oh, there was so much hate. Even I had hate.
Yeah, I'm just like, yo, what the hell is this?
I take back what I said.
I think that turned off a lot of people, because you have one guest character and then you've already revealed another guest character, and now we already know who's the DLC characters coming down the line. So it's just there's not really a lot of hype, because you kind of know who's going to come next.
It's a roadmap.
Yeah. But now that, the dust has settled, and people finally got a chance to play, now the reception about Salvatore Ganacci has been completely opposite. People now love him.
Yeah. They compared him to Cristiano Ronaldo, whose sprite is just moving. It barely just breathes. That's all it does.
Yeah.
There's no seasoning or personality. But then you see Salvatore just start dancing.
Yeah. And he's mostly a gag character, which it's a breath of fresh air to have gag characters in fighting games, because it makes the game more enjoyable, because you now have a goofy character that is just completely goofy. Like you don't take him seriously, but in the right hands, this character can actually cook.
Yeah, we're getting some good comments on YouTube.
Oh yeah, from Lightning KO.
So pretty much the correct answer is yes, it's owned by Saudi Arabia Prince, but owned by Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman.
Yeah.
Who owns 96% of the company.
Yeah.
But the reason why Ronaldo's on there is because of his he's in the team of Saudi Pro League of Al Nassr, which is 75% of which the Saudi prince also funds, or like part of Saudi Arabia. Then there's also Salvatore, who usually DJs for the prince.
Yeah.
So there's reasonings it's rigged.
Yeah, so it's because the reason why these two characters are in the game is because of the Saudi prince.
Yeah, he made it happen.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, let's make a new game, but let me add 2 characters in for the fun of it.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's either for the worst or the best, it promoted the game.
Yeah, granted, it didn't meet the sales expectations that they were hoping for, especially for those who play on PC. And I was also reading somewhere online that the game is also priced out in like Latin America countries, to where the game is like expensive for Latin American countries, and it's just like that is a bad thing.
Yeah.
Because you would want a game like this to be affordable for the Latin America countries, because they are very heavy into SNK.
Yeah.
Especially like King of Fighters, like
straight up, Mexico is known for that.
Yeah.
That's not even being offensive. It's being serious, actually.
Yeah, like Latin America countries, like they are very, very heavy into SNK games, especially games like King of Fighters and whatnot. So for Fatal Fury City of the Wolves to be expensive in those countries where most of the player base is there, just like, yeah, kind of shot ourselves in the foot with this one. But we don't know what the sales for the US, especially for consoles. We don't know those numbers yet.
They haven't been released yet.
Yeah, but for Japan, the game is really not. It's not appealing to the Japanese crowd and whatnot. And I was thinking that before I got here, I was thinking, had they instead of having Cristiano Ronaldo release as a guest character for this iteration of the DLC, it should have been like a well-known Japanese character to appeal to the Japanese crowd. Like, I don't know, maybe someone from the Yakuza series, like Majima.
Yeah, like a collab can be afforded is the thing you're trying to say.
Yeah.
And there's funny because I found out that there's a pop singer that actually promoted this song, promoted Fatal Fury.
Mm-hmm.
It's Otto. She's a Japanese J-rock singer.
Mm-hmm.
People loved her. I saw her music video recently. It was kind of banging, where it shows like brief clips of the fighting game animation and then brief clips of the artwork. So they're promoting this heavily. They're not skipping. They're still going to keep going. But I'm not sure if they're going to keep promoting, because the bigger tournament or that bigger champion World Cup is what, 3.5 million?
I think, no, 2.5 million.
2.5. That's still a lot of money. Like, that is life-changing money.
Yeah. And not just with Fatal Fury. I think they also have big pot tournaments for other SNK games as well. I think for King of Fighters 15 and Samurai Showdown.
Oh my God, this is real. That is real. We got to see this through.
We absolutely do. But it sucks that the game is, it's well received by people within the FGC community, especially a lot of people who are tired of playing Street Fighter 6 and Tekken 8.
Yep. This
game comes along. It's a breath of fresh air. It's very heavily neutral based, and you don't have to worry about like super oppressive game mechanics.
Belligerence.
Yeah.
There's some characters that do provide belligerence, like Hotaru, but I'm not going to hate. You can play what you want.
Yeah.
But, yeah, there's definitely a lot of promotion going on. There's still going to be promotion. Even though there's like 1,400 people online right about now, there's probably going to be more because of the prize money, or because people are going to be done with the games themselves.
Right. I'm trying to read the not Facebook chat, the YouTube chat. Lightning KO. I'm just trying to catch up on the chat, y'all. Lightning KO says, unique.
Laptop's gonna die.
Speaking of fighting games, Galleon comes to Grand Blue Fantasy versus Rising. Soon she has a command grab. Lodiva, sorry, but move over a bit. And Unica got fully leaked due to Guilty of Strife having a
yeah.
Yeah, I remember that
with
one.
the database base being held by Super Saiyan 1 Goku.
Yeah. And isn't SNK owned by Saudi Arabia blood money or something last I heard? Yeah.
Yes, but technically no. Yes.
I wonder if the Saudi Arabian prince will just kill SNK, drop them, and we will never see SNK games again due to poor
Nah.
sales of Garo City of the
There's
Wolves.
going to be more SNK games slowly.
Yeah,
They're just drip fed
yeah.
because King of Fighters came out, what, 4 years ago? 4 years ago?
No, I would say I think 2021. No, 2022. I think is when King of Fighters 15 dropped.
Okay, so 4 years ago.
Yeah. Ken and Chun-Li are coming to City of the Wolves as DLC soon. Hopefully they're in good VAT the game compared to Street Fighter 6. Dan says, speaking of fighting games, have y'all heard of
Yes.
Young Girls Don't Play Fighting Games?
I have to read it.
All the FGC gotta watch it when it drops.
There's that and High Score Girl. Those are 2 series I have to watch, but I keep dodging. Let's see, how much time do I have? Sure. I'm too lazy to find a plug, but I have enough time.
I mean, there's one like right. There you go, plug it right there.
Oh, yeah, shoot. I'm too lazy to find it. Yeah. Oh, my hero. Yeah, I got it. Sweet. So I won't just stare at the screen. Oh, sweet. Now we're cooking.
Yeah.
Sorry, chat. There has to be at least one moment of awkwardness,
Yeah.
but it's not that awkward anyways.
All right. Time to get to the main event. The main
Done.
meat
Done.
and potatoes.
Hold on. Before that, I'm impressed there's 55 people watching us on Twitter. Can we take a moment to process that?
I don't think it's like 55 people watching.
Or 55 views at least.
Yeah.
Man, a lot of people dodging without saying anything. Typical fighting game players.
Hey.
If they say something, that means they retained their attention, and I am proud. If not, my statement still stands.
I just hope for those that are watching on Twitter, X, however you want to call it, make sure y'all retweet and hit the like button. That way I can acknowledge y'all. Please and thank you.
Nah, the FGC's broke.
What is that buzzing
There's a
sound?
buzz.
Yeah, that is a weird buzz.
It sounds like it's coming from... Oh,
your laptop.
damn.
That's weird.
Is it the plug? I can plug it on the other side. Jesus.
Dude, that is weird. I just plugged it in.
This thing is from 2020. It's ancient. I'm joking.
Yeah, you're going to have to, like, untangle it.
Oh, Lord. Wait, I have an idea. Good old-fashioned manual. Switch the camera to you while you start setting up.
Okay, I'm gonna put the camera on me or whatnot. But I do want to talk a little bit more about Fatal Fury and whatnot. For me, the fighting game is not for me. I tried it. I tried the beta not once but twice, and of course when the full game actually released, tried it. I was just like, I don't know, is the game really wasn't just hitting for me or whatnot. It happens, you know, when you play so many fighting games, you're kind of just used to a style. Like, I understand the argument, like certain people would say that like if they play Street Fighter, they don't play no other games other than Street Fighter. Like, they're a Street Fighter player. All they play is nothing but Street Fighter games. So I can understand that. Or if they are a person that's like, you know, I don't play like 3D fighters like Tekken and Dead or Alive, like those are their games. Or even Soul Calibur, then yeah, those games are for them. I would say for me, I do play a lot of NRS games, primarily Mortal Kombat, not Injustice. I don't know, it just wasn't hitting for me. But I would say I'm mostly NRS and Arxis for the most part. I think those fighting games typically appeal to me. Are we good?
Yeah, we're good.
All right, so no buzzing.
I would say your side games because you just talk about Grand Blue because we don't talk about you playing Strive for at least like a few times.
No, like I could play Strive. I just choose not to because I see y'all play Strive and y'all hate the game.
Oh yeah, I hate the game. I just like making people miserable. That's just my go-to motto. Like CEO, I'm not even gonna laugh. I'm just gonna straight up just play. And if I get out of pools, that's on you guys who lab.
Lightning says for him he only plays Arxis Fighters.
I'm all
you
over
know
the
he
place.
likes playing Arxis Fighters. He plays Tekken 8, Street Fighter, Virtual Fighter, primarily.
Honestly, I'm all over the place.
Grand Blue, Strive, DBFZ. He hates NRS fighters. I don't blame you.
I don't blame you either. They're ass. Mainly because of all the buffs they did originally from the nerfs. Like, they always change the game in some little inconvenient way that turns into 50-60% damage combo.
Yeah.
Like, you're gonna have to hold that.
Yeah. And speaking of NRS games, we're going to get into our last topic of the night.
Ooh.
And that is the Mortal Kombat 1 Definitive Edition. It has been announced, and yeah, let's just say we kind of saw this coming
Oh, heavens, yeah. We saw that from a mile away.
because we've waited so long for, all right, what's next for Mortal Kombat 1? Are they going to break the cycle of finally introducing a Combat Pack 3?
Nah,
They did not. We are not getting a Combat Pack 3.
we're just getting another NRS game in probably a couple years. I'm being real, brother. Every time they show a definitive, that means the tournaments are going to die out within a good year or so.
Like, I remember with MKX, there was MKXL, and I was like, okay, that's done. They're done.
Oh, they're cooked.
Mortal Kombat 11, Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate, they're done. And now, Definitive Edition, they're done. Like, yo, we're done. We're moving on. No Combat Pack 3. And boy, oh boy, Twitter was on fire when this dropped out, when this trailer just came out.
They knew.
I'm going to just look at the quote tweets because the quote tweets are just they're never beating the year plus months allocation.
No, they aren't. That's real.
Bro, the game's not even 2 years old and they're just like, yeah, we're done. GG's.
It's like Microsoft all over again.
GG's.
Whenever they make something new or a game that came out, they're just like, yeah, we're done with this. Good luck.
Least time ever spent on a Mortal Kombat game. Disappointed.
That's why I didn't buy the second.
And that's what you get when you make half your DLC lame ass guest characters. MK Hanzo, pro tip: don't let Liu Kang build the next world.
real.
We have more content planned after Combat Pack 2. No, they don't. Return of Viz next game. Just wait.
But yeah, I love how Lightning is just like NRS did say Season 3 DLC was canceled for MK1 because the season sold horribly. So this was expected. True. But we thought they were going to say, hey, buckle up, not hey, pay a few extra bucks.
Years of support, they said. Oh my God. And
Dude.
I saw videos of people, posting on Ed Boon saying that, oh yeah, the game's going to get years of support. And just like,
Ed Boon is a troll himself. We've known this for years. That man is just silent.
Miles. Yo, shout out to Miles, one of a South Florida native. NRS players complained so bad that the studio said, fuck it, we're done.
That's funny.
Huh? Now that MK1 is over, how about we delete this new era and go back to when MK was actually good? I agree.
Agreed.
I so agree. Oh my God, this was just like bad.
Oh, it's terrible. I'm going back to look at the other quotes too.
I had fun.
I had fun.
Hold on, let me just I'm gonna just go back. Let me just. Okay, I know we can't hear the trailer, of course, but we see it. I'm gonna play it, but of course we not gonna hear it.
I didn't even look at this. That's how bad it is.
The Ultimate Collection at the best value
What's the value at? $80?
with new Mortal Kombat movie skins. Yeah, we're gonna just post the movie skins. Like that's going to make people care.
Oh, look, he's using Arcana. Works every time.
Oh, let me just pause this and go over all these DLC characters that they had. Right.
So they have
The ultimate guess. Okay. T-1000
from Terminator
for Terminator.
2, Judgment Day.
I'm gonna just say this: nobody cares about this
Nobody.
character.
People cared about Arnold.
No one cares. MK 11 had Terminator, solid guest character, but if you was gonna have him, you should have had T-1000.
Agreed.
Just like in MKX, you had Predator, you had Alien. Have them both, or don't have them at all.
Mm-hmm.
Then you had Omni-Man, which was very surprising and interesting to have in the game.
And then you look to the right, you see Tremor as a secondary.
Yeah, and I was like, why is Tremor a secondary? Like, why is he an assist? Like, but whatever. But Omni-Man, it being in the game, he was cheap. I'm going to say, that motherfucker was cheap.
He was cheap.
Oh, my God. Like, the amount of
told
people they'll just, like, stand and they hit you right from behind, just like.
Remember I did that one stream where we did it at the same time?
Yes, I remember that.
And I didn't even play the game.
Bro, like online, the amount, like I remember when Omni-Man came out, I was getting so annoyed.
Oh, you were getting grilled.
Of playing nothing but Omni-Man characters or whatnot, because I'm thinking, okay, he's negative here, I should hit him. Nope, apparently not. Oh, like, I hate playing against Omni-Man characters. So annoying.
So you have Omni-Man, you have Tremor, then you have
Conan, like, no one asked for this character. I'm
He's
sorry.
not much of a horror fanatic, or more of like an action star. Which
But
is
yeah,
good.
an action star, but it's like, who asked for this character?
I feel like some people have.
Like, this, I'm sorry, but disappointing. Like, if no one knew this character or cared about this character, why even have him in the game?
Exactly. Because you could put Arnold in any other role but this one.
Literally. Ghostface.
Dope.
See, he's dope. He's dope in the game.
Because it's not based off. It is based off the movie, but it's more Mortal Kombat characters from the past.
Yeah. However, he should have been in MKX. Ghostface should have been in MKX.
Oh, I agree.
Like, he would fit so well with MKX because you also had horror icons like Jason Voorhees. You also had Leatherface, and then you would have had Ghostface.
Yeah.
You would have the perfect trio.
And
Granted.
You had Alien too.
And yes, and Predator.
Yeah. They fucked up. Again.
Like, that. They could have had Ghostface in a Combat Pack 3 of MKX. But for some reason, hey, we're not getting a Combat Pack 3. History repeats itself.
It is pain.
I forget his name.
Peacemaker.
Peacemaker, yes.
I'm just defeated.
I'm not going to lie. Fun character. Solid character.
He's so funny and ass.
When he first came out, he was broken as shit.
Then they reduced him, but you still got the ass play.
Yeah. He was broken as shit when he came out, but fun character. I would say out of all the characters, Peacemaker was actually fun. And, of course, being voiced by John Cena.
Even funnier.
Even better. And just like, I would say, you know what? You get a pass. I'm okay with you staying in Mortal Kombat.
Yeah. Because it looks like they focused on heroes.
And then you had Homelander.
Yeah.
Which you didn't get the actual voice actor because Warner Brothers didn't want to, pay. So
yeah, you saw the death in that guy's face. He's like, man, I wish I could voice my own character.
Exactly. But you couldn't get the voice actor to do it, so that was disappointing. But at that point when he came out, I already stopped playing the game.
Yeah.
I dropped Mortal Kombat. I was like, I'm done. So I don't care, but seeing him in, it's just like, you already have Omni-Man, so why Homelander, but whatever. There's the trailer.
Yeah.
That shit that Omni-Man does is fucking annoying, and I'm just going to say that. Very fucking annoying.
It is. It respectfully is. Then you have the fatality. No, that's the, I used to call it X-ray, but fatal. Then that's the fatality. Fatality on fatality on fatality on fatality.
Yeah, all 35 fighters.
There's 35. Then they had the classic skins. Then you had
I did not like.
Sector.
I did not like how they gender swapped Cyrex and Sector.
They pulled a Disney or MCU.
Yeah, I didn't like that because I understand new era, but I didn't like it. Takeda, they brought him back, but I'm just
They
like,
made him so lame.
bro, yes, it's just like
They honestly stepped down.
they killed him. They killed him off in MK11, and I'm just like, why? Because
No, they didn't kill him off. They said they killed him off.
yeah,
Because in the comics, he actually did die.
yeah. But I was so upset that Takeda was not going to be in MK11 because he was he was a lot of fun to use in MKX. But MK11 is just like, yeah, we're not going to bring him.
Once we're done, there's something I want to bring back as a memory.
Sure.
21
camos.
cameos.
I don't know why they made Sonya a cameo. Worst decision ever. Tremor, worst decision ever. Jax, worst decision ever.
Yep. Darius.
Darius, like they could have brought him back as a playable fighter. Worst decision ever. Chameleon, worst decision ever, but whatever. Shunjiko,
Yep. Shinjiko.
Kano,
That pissed me off.
because you used them a lot in
That was
MK11,
Yep.
and that was your main.
Yep.
And it's like, yeah, they reduced him to a cameo.
Yeah, they had me choose Sub-Zero. It made me hate this game even more. And Sub-Zero was ass. I think that's the only character Herbs has flawed with choosing my characters for me.
And then, of course, they brought back animalities.
They brought back more violent furries. I do like the design, but it just seems pointless.
2-story campaigns.
Yep.
The first campaign, it was okay.
It's a cinema.
It's okay.
But you know what? I'm going to bring back what I'm going to say. We had to play through this
Yes.
just to get the cameos instead of spending $20.
Yes. And the characters, too.
Yes.
Like, to unlock all the characters and the cameos, you got to play through story mode from start to finish. And let me just tell you, as a TO, that is the most
I remember
annoying.
offering people stuff just to get it done.
That was the most annoying shit ever.
Say MK.
Listen, I will give them kudos for the fact that, hey, for those that get the game, you want the old school style of unlocking all the characters as you play the game, especially the main story
We're
mode.
a competitive
But-
tournament.
But that's back then. Now, I'm just like, bro. Like it's 2025 war. The game came out in 2023.
Yep.
Like, have all the characters and cameos unlocked day one, and then you have like a very special character. Let's just say Shang Tsung. Like you have to
Yep.
beat story mode to get Shang Tsung. Cool. I'm cool with that.
But not every character.
But every character, like, bro. I really didn't like how they made Scorpion and Sub-Zero brothers. It was just a weird dynamic. And then, of course,
my favorite part was the fact that Sub-Zero #1 has always been an asshole.
yeah.
That's the funniest part about this. And they gave Kuala Yang his scar. That's the one thing I appreciated the detail on. But other than that, it's just
And I didn't even play the Chaos Reigns. And my guess is the reason why they're like Mortal Kombat and NRS, or NRS is pretty much just done with MK1. My guess is that Chaos Reigns did not sell well.
probably not.
The second year DLC, it did not sell well. It didn't resonate well with a lot of people, to the point where people were just not interested in Mortal Kombat at this point anymore. That is my
Because
strongest guess, because
it's a couch fighter. Let's be real.
Yeah.
It's more for the casual gamer, but when you put it into a higher competitive level, you're gonna have the real complainers.
yes, you are. And of course, the story aspect, it's just what
It
just
didn't make
wa-
sense.
it really didn't make sense because the fact that yes, it's in a new era, but at the same time, you have a lot of people that grew up on MK lore, and it just really does not make any sense.
Because MK9 was the first change.
Yes,
And MK11 started changing again, and then MK1 became the official change.
yeah, like MK11 and MK1 are together in that aspect, and that's when the shift changed with MK11. And most of us recently found out that the reason why the change is because the original writers of MK9 and MKX, they're gone. So you pretty much have like one guy from the original team that did MK11, and I guess he's also doing MK1 with New Kang bringing in this new era instead of just continuing where
MK11
left off at, which would have made a lot more sense. You just undo the shit that Chronica did, but they fucking didn't. So, hey, we're just going to fuck up everything and just make everything anew and call it Mortal Kombat 1 instead of Mortal Kombat 12.
Yeah. They pulled a marble.
Oh my god. The multiverse bullshit is
Multiverse bullshit.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. Multiverse bullshit, because you and I we've talked about it before on the podcast.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes down to Mortal Kombat, and I've said that they had the opportunity to make some of the existing characters in the current timeline before the fuck up in MK11, like let's just say the events after MKX. They had the opportunity to make the Black Dragon clan, the one with Kano as the leader, make them really strong, like present them as a real big threat where Kano recruits more people, like he has Tremor as one of his biggest enforcers.
Yeah.
And he also recruits even more people like Darius. He also recruits some of the other characters from the MK Deception and Deadly Alliance era, and even Armageddon.
You have so much opportunity, but it fumbled to Kenshi running away from the Black Dragon.
Yeah, and you could have definitely built something on, like with the Outworld, where Kotal Khan is the Khan of the Outworld, and now he has his crew. And now, people betraying him, like Aaron Black betrays him to join the Black Dragon clan because they're offering Aaron Black a lot more money. You can have like someone like Reptile trying to discover his roots. Rain and Ermac trying to work together to try to bring back Melina.
Yeah.
Like,
you have a lot of options, but there was a lot of fumbling that happened.
So much fumbling, and
there's no player feedback, which is the funny part.
Yeah, and
they knew that whatever gets sent is going to get shredded.
Yeah. And now we don't even get a Combat Pack 3.
Nope.
And then, of course, with the DLC of MK1, it was just so heavily focused on just, like, the guest characters because that was the new meta. That was the new thing. And it's been a thing with Mortal Kombat since Mortal Kombat 9 where, okay, we're going to have, like, a guest character. Cool. MK9, it was cool to have Kratos and Freddy Krueger. Only two guest characters.
And
nice.
And separate consoles as well.
What's up?
There was also like the fact that Kratos is an exclusive PlayStation character.
Yeah. And then MKX, you have Jason Voorhees, you have
Leatherface,
Predator, Alien. Who else? I think that was it for guest characters. Yeah, I think that was it. But you also had returning characters as well.
They had like Tanya, Bo Right Cho.
Mm-hmm.
Then it was just...
And then MK11, you started seeing a little bit more guest characters, but you also have some returning ones as well, which was good. But and then MK11 just be like, all right, we're going to have more guest characters. It's like, okay, you guys are being ridiculous. Like...
Yeah.
And then, of course, the gameplay aspect of MK1, completely different from all the Mortal Kombats. New, where everyone gets an assist character, and... gameplay wise, it was unique and fun, but then it was literally, as you said, ass play.
Yep.
Majority of the time, and you're just like, you're not even having fun anymore. Even if you're winning, it's just like, this isn't fun.
Like watching Mortal Kombat players is entertaining. I will say that jokingly.
Right.
But when it comes to the actual like gameplay, do you really want to think that far ahead?
Yeah.
Like I know some people who played the game for years, like the whole Mortal Kombat series, and they feel like they became like one of the worst players in the game from that mental stack, because so much stupidity that they cannot do about.
Yeah.
They cannot do a single thing about, but lab it hours on end to like, hey, I found out how I'm gonna suffer more later.
Yeah.
But DLC is always a stronger character, and they're like, oh yeah, let's fix it right away, and right away is like months after a major event.
Yeah.
Yeah, they weren't really supplying or providing demands, but if NetherRealms decides to make another game, I'm hoping it's actually going to be something that they can listen to the people.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because this is just it's sad, honestly, of the current state of Mortal Kombat, where it's
Oh wait, you know what I remember?
Hmm.
The fact that the game is on Switch and only runs 30 frames and it can barely run itself. For those that haven't seen chat, look it up on YouTube. Gameplay of MK1.
I do want to say the best thing about MK1 was the Pink Floyd.
Yes.
Like people trying to
They grinded that game.
grind the game to finally get a chance to fight Pink Floyd, and he was whooping people's ass.
And then they had to do it all over again. Yeah, I remember like one of my buddies that haven't played it just wanted to go see Floyd specifically. Oh yeah, the rest of the fatalities. They mimicked a lot of the old Immortal Kombat ones.
Something that I don't know if people caught on to that, where towards the end of the video, the world explodes.
Yep.
I'm thinking, is that a sign of we're scrapping this new era?
Or it's mimicking the Mortal Kombat 1 or 2 Cyrax fatality.
I mean, it is, yes, but it's just, why would you put that scene towards the end? What are you trying to imply? Like, what's the message? Are you saying that, you know what, we gotta scrap this?
Yeah.
We tried. People not liking this new era. I think we need to go back to the drawing board.
That's a tough question.
Yeah.
They probably could have done for theatrical effects and did not think that far, knowing that it's NetherRealms. I'm throwing hella shade. 100% NetherRealms did not think about that.
Yeah.
You're giving them ideas that you shouldn't have.
Oh yeah. And then of course, missing features in a fighting game,
Oh my gosh.
like no lobbies still.
Nope.
I will commend them for giving us a Wi-Fi Ethernet filter, to where now we can see the person's connection, whether they're on Wi-Fi or they're on Ethernet, because I hate playing against Wi-Fi players.
I think
On
it really
MK?
does.
It is the worst, and sometimes they have their mic on.
Yeah.
And of course, I will also give NRS a little bit of a little bit of a benefit of a doubt, that they also added the feature where, hey, if you want to mute the game chat while you're playing your game, you can do that. That feature is also there. I don't mute it because I need the entertainment. I want to hear the salt. I want to hear the slurs, because they just don't block.
Nope. They don't even block their own mouths. That's the best part about Mortal Kombat, the voice chatting.
Yeah.
There-
Like the shit talking in Mortal Kombat is like, it was super good in MKX. It was super good in MK11. Oh, bro, MK11. Oh my god.
Yep. You've had people putting racist names on their character variations.
Oh god, yes.
I remember playing a game against you, and then I get into this guy who's such a dickhead in the voice chat until I cooked him.
I think we were playing King of the Hill. Bro,
Yep.
King of the Hill in Mortal Kombat is like it's peak quality entertainment, because you can have a bunch of random people just joining in, and if you're the best player, you just stay at the top, and then you gotta fight everybody. That was, oh my god, that made Mortal Kombat so enjoyable,
I don't know how they managed to forget to add that again.
bro. Again, it's just features that were in previous Mortal Kombat games they did not add to MK11, and these were requested features. Like, a lot of us were asking, are we going to get these features in later updates? We'll see. Nothing happens. Silence. And it's just like, these are the things that holds the game over for a longer period of time, especially the King of the Hills, the private rooms, the private lobbies. I would say not private rooms. Private rooms were there, but private lobbies.
Yep.
Like lobby rooms. Like, let us have that. King of the Hill, let us have that.
But unfortunately not.
They just give us just bare bones. It's a bare bones online.
It was a rushed game. It's still
Yeah.
to this day. The shareholders rushed at Boone, and I knew this was going to happen. We're like, hey, when's the next Mortal Kombat came out? And then that's where everybody got exposed and excited. Am I wrong?
No.
Shareholders do control Warner Brothers still to this day, unfortunately.
Yeah, and look what done happened. The game's not even 2 years old, and you're just
you,
like,
you
yeah.
can't really say much. Like, fuck the Warner Brothers and fuck
No, I can.
You can say that too, but fuck the shareholders and as well.
No, everyone's getting equal blame on this one.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody's getting blamed for this one because, one, NetherRealm didn't give us the features that we've requested that were in previous Mortal Kombat games. Like,
No, they didn't.
no. And then, of course, crossplay was not even available day one. We had to wait, and it's just like...
It was months.
And it's just like, y'all finally had it right with MK11 when PlayStation decided to be like, you know what, fine, we'll allow crossplay. And then a couple of months later, we end up having crossplay on MK11, which was the best. I would say that was the best experience by far, because now we can have the Xbox players on PlayStation. That made King of the Hill so much better.
It did.
It made playing Mortal Kombat 11 fun. It made playing Mortal Kombat in general fun. Granted, yes, I hate the bullshit of MK11, like the fucking crushing blow mechanic, or when you and the other player are ducking down and you're waiting for one of you guys to hit the uppercut, and then you get the other person, and then it's a crushing blow. It's just like,
Yeah, and then you combo off of it.
Yep.
Vendy Interactables. I love it. That's what I love. When they didn't bring that for MK1, I was disappointed.
Yes, I was just like,
Because that was passed down from Injustice.
yes.
Then it was also introduced in MKX, MK11.
Yeah, they kept it. Like, the stage interactables. It's like, y'all have regressed. Y'all have not progressed. Y'all have regressed. Y'all have went back. And it's just like, it didn't make the game enjoyable
No.
enough.
It did not.
Now it's just straight ass play, but majority
straight
of the time. And it's just like, are you having fun, like, playing, like, ass? And just like, no, I'm not.
So-
Like, some people would say, would you rather play MK11 over MK1? I was like,
Yes.
honestly, yes.
Yes.
Even with the bullshit, yes.
Yeah.
I would still play it. I would still play MKX over MK11 and 1.
I would play it, yeah, MKX.
Even though, yes, that game is, fast paced, and if you lose, and if you use all your meters, well, guess what? You're going to have to eat shit for a while.
You're going to have to work harder to get better X-ray.
You're going to get reset in the corner and just like, listen, just put the controller down. GG's.
Yeah, watching TODs is define. Like, you worked for that.
Yeah, exactly. But, man,
It's a bummer.
it definitely is, because we tried to have a scene for Mortal Kombat.
It did not last longer than like 3 months.
It really didn't. And MK11 lasted a little bit longer than that.
And all it took was Butters to gatekeep.
Yeah. And I'm thinking, and I kept thinking about this so much, especially with MK, like with MK1, and then of course what we did with MK11. I was just like, we just hope like the next MK game is good. We now have like the space here at Flint's to really cultivate a community, to grow the scene, whatnot. Because it was myself, you, Butters, Herbs,
And other people that came from the scene.
yeah, to keep it going and whatnot. And I guess everyone just got turned off with the ass play.
Yep. No, some people were turned on because they wanted to keep first place money.
Yeah. But even when you think about that, it's just like, if you really think about it, like the top 10, like I would say the top 5 players, especially here in South Florida, if we still kept MK running, it would have been Butters.
Yeah.
Like Butters by far won. Grim, Herbs.
Yep.
Sir Penguin
And Third Eye.
and Third Eye. That's your top 5 right there.
Yeah.
And then your bottom 5 would be us.
Yeah.
And probably 3 other people.
Yeah. That's true.
And what would make it even more enjoyable is that we would keep we would still come out and compete because we're trying to get more people into MK, try to build a scene, trying to build at least a good 20 to 30 people. Like, bro, could you imagine if MK11, like, let's just say we recover off of the pandemic and MK11 is still going strong or whatnot, and we had about a good solid 20 to 30 people average for locals here in South Florida for just Mortal Kombat. Most of us wouldn't even play other fighting games.
Nope. We simply want to strive because MK was that bad. And this is pre me joining Island.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just like, man. We tried with this game because we wanted to, cultivate that scene, but MK1 was just so ass.
Yeah.
They've really regressed. And as you said, yeah, they definitely rushed this game.
It's a rush process. It looked bare bones from the start.
Yeah, it definitely was.
The only thing that accommodated was accessibility for people that are deaf or blind.
Right.
Yeah,
Which is always a plus.
Yeah.
But just overall, the characters and then the play style, and granted, we didn't get variations, thank God, because we're like kind of tired of it. Because everybody goes for the meta variation of whatever character you're going to use anyway.
We didn't get that, but we got meta characters assist.
Yes.
That's the exchange.
Yeah. So you're going to see someone using Serena a lot. Chameleon. Who else? It was Serena, Chameleon.
Veritor was the latest one.
That I would say when we were still like actively playing.
Oh, you had Frost.
Frost, yes. We had Frost, Serena, Chameleon.
You had Jax.
Jax, but I don't think
Jax wasn't more for assisted command grabs or the air combos.
Yeah, I would say those were like the top 4 used. Oh, and the other Scorpion.
Yeah. Scorpion was used for Lee May specifically.
Mm-hmm.
And still to this day.
So it's like, oh, you can just, have different cameos that'll help you out, but everyone just goes for the meta. Everybody just goes for the meta because
you know who I forgot was a good player? Last Laugh.
Yes. Yeah, he would definitely either be he would definitely be either most likely top 5 or like the second half of 5. And then of course you also had Anubis as well.
He topped in France. Fun fact.
Who?
Last Laugh.
Where he's at?
He went to France for one tournament and like almost got top 8.
Nice.
And schooled. Oh my gosh. Yeah, he told me a story and I was dying.
That's good.
I'm like, you brought the USA to them. And he hadn't even touched the game.
Do you remember that one? I put it in the DM, but you guys told me that it was a guy that used to come out to the locals or whatnot.
Yeah.
That asked me about, hey, are you guys ever doing Mortal Kombat 1 tournaments? And I'm like, bro, no.
Nah.
No. Like, even if I were to have even more space here at Flynn's and we had more consoles, would I add Mortal Kombat 1 to the lineup? Probably not.
Mm-mm.
I'd add probably MK11 or MKX, either one of the two.
Even though it was the same results, they're still going to have more, like, it's going to be done faster.
Yeah.
Because MK1 is slow.
It definitely is. It definitely is, bro. And now with Definitive Edition,
it's definitely done.
Yeah, it definitely is.
You ready for the Guilty Gear Strive Definitive Edition?
We still got, 2 more characters, Unica and Lucy, and that's about it.
But they haven't, like, came out yet, so that's the funny part about this.
Oh, man. I'm just, like, for me, as a Mortal Kombat fan, as someone that grew up with the series, like, I want the game to be great. I do. I want Mortal Kombat to go back to its glory days, but I know that is we're far past that. and we're never gonna see the numbers like how it was back in MK9 and MKX. I would say those were like the best years of playing Mortal Kombat, and even the first couple of years, I would say before the pandemic of MK11, it was still good. Like I was very like, even though I was a bit skeptical, I was like, "Ooh, another Mortal Kombat game this soon or whatnot." I was thinking, okay, all right, I'm down. I don't mind. So, did I had fun with it? Yeah, I definitely did. There was a lot of cheap shit. I would still go back and play the game, but I'm not playing MK1 ever again.
Don't blame you.
But I from the story aspect, I want Mortal Kombat to just. We gave the new Liu Kang era a chance, and I'm sorry, it's ass. We gave it a chance. It is ass. Go back before Chronica even became a thing. But mind you, terrible villain, terrible boss villain. Shinnok was better. Corrupted Shinnok was a much better boss. Even though he had very little screen time in MKX, still a much better boss than damn Chronica. And then of course you make the final fight between Liu Kang and Shang Tsung, and I'm just like, oh boy, here we go again. But of course, different paths, and then all of a sudden, because of their fight, now you have different timelines, and I'm just like, oh my god, they went the Marvel multiverse route. We're gonna get some multiverse bullshit, and that's exactly what Mortal Kombat 1 is, multiverse bullshit.
Multiverse bullshit.
We didn't need it. The story where MK11 was, it wasn't perfect, but they could have still continued with it. But besides the story, gameplay-wise, just bring it back to just no variations, a complete move list, because I would say this would be my perfect Mortal Kombat. My perfect Mortal Kombat game would be year one, you have about five DLC characters down the road, and they're all Mortal Kombat characters. And probably you can also introduce some new ones. Maybe one new one, and then of course some returning ones from the Mortal Kombat universe. And year two, you introduce new characters, but you also introduce like new mechanics. Some characters are getting new moves added. Cool, because you could add moves that previous Scorpions had to the current new Scorpion. Like I would love to see Scorpion having what's that one move he had in MKX where?
Oh, you're talking about the swords?
Yes, with the swords.
Where it's just like a very rapid slice. I forgot. I'm thinking of MK11.
Yeah, like I would say I like MKX's Scorpion because he was very aggressive rushdown, and MK11 Scorpion he wasn't much of a rushdown, but you can be very precise with him. You can definitely mix up with him. Sub-Zero, on the other hand, I like him in both MKX and 11, but I think MKX Sub-Zero was
more fluid.
Very fluid. And MK11, not as fluid as X, but still very useful. Like, have the characters be very useful to where new year, okay, we're going to give you guys some new moves. We're also going to introduce some new mechanics. And then year three, you can also bring in some more characters. And then you can give year two characters some new moves. Like introducing new moves, and then every character has like a list of moves. Like combo moves, special moves, and then each of the year you could be like, all right, year one, we're going to give you guys friendship. Year two, babalities. Year three, animalities. Keep brutality, but like each of the years you're introducing, the features of all the previous MK games. Babalities, friendship, animalities, because MKX brought back brutalities, which was a good change. Then MK11 brought back friendship. MK1 brought back animalities. How about an MK game with all of them together, but you just do it separate? Like
what about Mercy?
Yes, Mercy too.
Had to ask. You know what's the one thing I remember that MK did not promise?
What?
Tag teams.
Yep.
There was like this whole speculation where there was just going to be like a 2v2, similar to MK9. I feel like that was dumped out or that was a rumor. That was ahead of its time, and I'm surprised they didn't bring it back.
Oh, bro.
You know, low tier God would have crashed out again.
I remember
That is a player of Mortal Kombat. That is a face.
I remember the tag team in Mortal Kombat 9, and it was fun. But my God, it was broken.
Yep.
But it was fun.
Yes.
Broken, but fun. It's just like, bring that back. Because now that makes things a lot interesting. Because now I can, focus on two mains and just be like, okay, I got, like, for you would focus primarily Kano and probably Sub-Zero.
Mm-hmm.
Like, now that would give you more options. Like, my character's going to be broken. I'm going to play. There might be some ass play, but.
Shao Kahn.
Well, for me, it would be. If Shao Kahn is not the boss and he's an actual character, I would probably use him. But it would most likely either be Scorpion or Smoke. No, yeah. Scorpion and Ermac. Because that's who I used in MK9. Like, Scorpion and Ermac was like my go-to.
Yeah, because I used Jade in MK11 along with Kano. But Sub-Zero was just my MK1.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about your Jade. Your Jade was annoying.
And then I played Collector as well. I dabbled.
Your Collector was also fucking annoying,
yes, they
too.
were. I played annoying characters. I don't know what else to tell you, brother. I didn't know how to play fighting games solidly until, 2021.
That was such an annoying character. He was new, but annoying.
The fact that I topped that Flint is still the funniest thing with Butters. I gotta whoop his ass anyways.
One of these days, we just have to have like a play session to where, all right, we're going to play some of our older MK games. We're not going to play MK1. Just MK11 and MKX.
If someone says that MK1's their favorite game, they're getting jumped outside in the parking lot.
No, I'm just banning them from the venue. I'm kidding.
Or are you? Yeah, that's jokes.
Yeah. But yeah.
MK1, definitely done for.
Yep. Back it up.
We just gotta look forward for the future of Mortal Kombat or NetherRealm Studios or even Warner Brothers.
Yeah. We don't know what other fighting game they're going to have. Combat Tour is still going on, so maybe after Combat Tour,
they're just packing their bags.
Maybe we'll see an announcement of what they could be working on.
Or Ed Boon trolling again.
Yeah, as usual.
Because that man was in the Game Awards a couple years back, and people were ready to hear him at Mortal Kombat News, but no. He just went straight to the facts, and that was the funniest thing. People got blue-balled.
Well, yeah, that's Mortal Kombat 1 for you guys. And with that being said, hey, short episode, but
nothing crazy.
Nothing crazy. That's how our Thursdays are. We, phone line is open. No one hasn't called. So with that being said, we're going to head on up out of here, y'all. We'd like to thank y'all for watching, tuning in. Hit the music. There we go. So yeah, we're gonna head up, get on up out of here. We thank y'all for watching and tuning in, especially our Twitter viewers.
The Twitter Dodgers is what I'm calling for no interaction.
Exactly. But it's all good though. It's all good. Trying something new, and we'll see how it goes. Who knows? Maybe we'll do a live stream on Instagram, on the South Florida Gamers Podcast Instagram.
I know, it has been a while. We never really use it for live.
Yeah.
Shouts out to the Dan and Lightning KO, Y2 Spectful, people on Twitter, the viewers of now and later.
The lurkers.
Yep. Dodgers. They can dodge the local, but they can't dodge Twitter.
Hey, we appreciate y'all for watching and tuning in.
All love.
And yeah, Sunday we should have an episode. We just have to confirm our guests on Saturday.
Yep.
We'll let y'all know on social media. And if we don't, then I think we could try to have an episode on Sunday. We could, but I don't want to promise anything. So
it's a 50-50.
Yeah, so if anything, just, stay tuned to our social medias. We'll probably let you guys know if we are going to have a guest on Sunday. If we do, stay tuned for it. If not, then hey.
Enjoy your Sunday.
Absolutely. So with that being said, this has been episode 131 of the South Florida Gamers Podcast. And we are signing out.
Peace.